Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source. It's the backup channel backing Celeb up and bringing you all the breaking news. As we all know, Quando Rondo's boy Timothy Leak shot and killed King Von in 2020 after Rondo and Von met up to fight, right? So since then, Rondo's career has pretty much been at a standstill because most promoters don't want to work with the dude because they're scared of booking him for fear of retaliation. You never know, the venue might get shot up, right? So now, you might think that Quando would try to clean up his act a little bit, but no. Instead, he decided to double down and now he's taking more shots at King Von. In his new song, Want Me Dead, Quando Rondo said, quote, "My favorite op dead, sister talk too much, no I don't like the bish. Lil Timmy rolled a brother up, got stepped on in some night kicks," end quote. Listen, a lot of people don't appreciate the bar and they think that Quando is being very disrespectful when he's speaking ill of the dead. Everything that happened went down, but you don't gotta keep rehashing what went down. For me, I just think it's corny. If your hardest rap lyrics come with you beefing with a ghost, that doesn't say much about you, son. You know what I'm saying? Now listen, on many occasions, Quando Rondo has gone on interviews and he's been like, I don't have to chase clout. I don't have to drop names. But apparently you do, because that's what you're doing. Listen, I watched a couple of interviews with this guy, and I can say he seems like he's a young guy who is full of potential if he could get the right guidance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't let this kid run free. You gotta rein him in a little bit and give him a little education. And then he might be okay. You know what I mean? Now, while we're on the subject of epic rap beefs, we need to discuss Kendrick Lamar's We Cry Together. Recently, Kendrick came out and he gave us a little insight into the song and video. Kendrick Lamar said, quote, "The main trigger for writing the dialogue was basically the state of the world within the last 5 years for me and seeing my frustrations about how nobody and none of our cultures or belief systems can ever come to an agreement. So in writing that, I say, okay, how can I make this feel personal, but also holding up a mirror as a collective concept rather than a personal concept? I wanted to do that with all the emotions involved. I wanted to bring that drama because at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the pros and the cons, that's what makes everything evolve. Being able to put that in our face allows us to accept that in order for us to evolve as humanity," end quote. Listen, I see where Kendrick is going with that, and I watched the video and I thought it was a very interesting artistic perspective. And I'll say this, I think that sometimes we get drawn into these petty arguments where nobody's gonna win, and it's a microcosm of what's going on the macro level of society. But I think that we need to purposefully, going forward, try to see the positive sides of people instead of always trying to point out people's flaws. So kudos to Kendrick Lamar for trying to do something that puts that in our face and tries to push us to a higher level as human beings. I'll tell you this much though, if some dude said some of the stuff that he said to that chick in that video, you ain't getting no buns at the end of the night, okay? Listen, the other night, Wendy Williams resurfaced in public, and during an interview, she basically said that in the future she has a podcast coming out, so look out for the Wendy Williams podcast. But she also said that she's being honored by her alma mater, Northeastern University. Check out what Wendy Williams had to say.
So the new thing for me is podcasts.
Woo! Tell us about it.
Well, I have to tell you, first of all, I didn't know anything much about podcasts. All those things, podcast, and, I was so busy doing the Wendy Williams show that I didn't have time to think about this, that, the second, and the third. When I finally stopped doing the Wendy Williams show, I said, wow, I could do anything I want or nothing at all. So I was like, well, what do I want to do? Well, I want to do something different, something new. And so podcast is one of those things. Now, clap if you know what podcast is.
Anybody know?
Clap if you have no idea what podcast is. Okay, wow. Okay. What else do I want to do? Oh, well, I went to Northeastern University in Boston.
Yes.
And I'm excuse me, right now I'm in the process of, and they've already told me this, I'm going to get an honorary doctorate.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So then
Congratulations.
Simply just call me Dr. Wendy. I'll take it. I'll take
Wendy,
it.
I love it.
I'll take it.
I'm happy for Wendy, and And I'm happy that Wendy is going to become Dr. Wendy. That's a wonderful achievement. But here's the thing though. Like anytime that I'm watching Wendy now, like I get like nervous for her. You know what I'm saying? You know how you take like your kid or you take a toddler to somebody's house and there's a whole lot of like glass tables and stuff around and the kid is all wobbly and you think like you're on edge because you might have to catch the kid. That's how I feel like when I'm watching Wendy now. I feel like she's gonna stumble at any moment and it just makes me totally anxious, uncomfortable, and nervous. But I mean, let's see if she can do it. Let's see if she can do podcast. Yo, it'd be killing me because she doesn't say I'm doing a podcast. My girl be like, I'm doing podcast. Yo, I can't. Speaking about interesting shows, French Montana appeared on WeTV's Hip Hop Homicides, and he spoke about his boy Chinx, the rapper. French and Chinx were in the Coke Boys crew together, but unfortunately in 2015, Chinx was shot 8 times while his car idled at a red light in Queens, New York. During the episode, French said he believes that Chinx would have been one of hip-hop's best rappers. French said, quote, he knew how to switch his flow up, he knew how to adapt. He was 10 times better than me because he seen all my mistakes. He was like a better version, man. If Chinx was alive, Chinx would be top 5, end quote. I love the fact that French Montana is giving Chinx props, but you know what I would have loved even more? I would have loved for Chinx to still be here so we could see his rap skills. What I'm saying is that all of this violence has got to stop, and we have to stop thinking that vengeance is mine, okay? Some stuff you gotta let ride, okay? And sometimes you're gonna take a L, but sometimes in life, you gotta take a L. Now, while we're talking about somebody who's taking an L, let's discuss Saweetie. Listen, last week we talked about Saweetie and we talked about the fact that she had dropped a new song in which she seemed to be taking jabs at Lil Baby, Quavo, or maybe even Offset. Now this week, Saweetie's album has bombed on the charts. It only did 2,000 and it's sinking fast. In response to the album's dismal performance on the charts, one person on social media said, quote, she sucks and she ain't trendsetting like that Glorilla chick. But honestly, ever since she said that about Quavo, her 5 minutes of fame started ticking, end quote. Another person on social media added, quote, wow, who knew substance sells over sexualized rap? And last but not least, another person came in and when they were speaking about the album, they were like, wow, I could do better than that, end quote. Listen, this is what happens when you put the drama on the album instead of focusing on the music, sweetie. Now let's talk about somebody who really likes to focus on the music. Let's talk about J. Cole. If you remember in 2019, J. Cole dropped the song Middle Child in which he made a reference to Kodak. J. Cole said, quote, had a long talk with my ninja. Kodak reminded me of ninjas from the Ville. Straight out of the projects, no faking, just honest. I wish that he had more guidance for real, end quote. Well, now it seems like tables have turned and now Kodak has something to say about J. Cole. In a recent interview, Kodak said, quote, J. Cole, I rock with him though. He gives me great advice and he want to see me win. Some people will try to hold information back. He give it to me raw and stuff like that, end quote. Of course, when Kodak said it, it did not sound that clear and comprehensible, but you get the drift. Listen, I like seeing young brothers giving each other props and upholding each other and helping each other grow in the industry. I like seeing these young brothers working hand in hand to get the bag. We don't have to be shooting at each other. We don't have to always be trying to diss each other, and we don't have to disrespect each other every chance we get. This is a classic example of when you have some camaraderie, y'all can make things work. I love it. Now, talking about somebody who was trying to make it work with somebody else, we all know that Kanye went to Mar-a-Lago and he went and he asked Donald Trump if he would be his running mate, right? So apparently Trump laughed at Kanye and even got mad at the fact that he would even bring himself to ask if he would be his running mate. Not only did he laugh at Kanye, but according to Ye, Trump tried to sun him and also disrespected Kim by calling her out of her name. Ye said, quote, I think the thing that Trump was most perturbed about was me asking him to be my vice president. I think it was like lower on the list of things that caught him off guard. But then he goes on to say that Kim is a beep, and you could tell her that. And I was like, that's the mother of my children, end quote. Ye continued on to say, quote, since we and all the Christians in America that love Trump know that Trump is a conservative, we're going to demand that you hold all policies directly to the Bible. When Trump started basically screaming at me at the table and telling me I was going to lose, I mean, has that ever worked for anyone in history? I'm like, whoa, hold on, Trump. You're talking to Ye. End quote. Yo, Ye said when Trump started basically screaming at me at the table, telling me I was gonna lose, I mean, has that ever worked for anyone in history? Ye, yes, it has worked for somebody in history. It worked for Trump, and that's how he got elected the first time around. Like, what world are we living in right now? I'm so confused. Listen, part of me wishes that I was a fly on the table during that conversation, and then the other part of me wishes to never know what was discussed in that room. It's just scary. Either way it goes, this is going to be a very interesting election coming up, okay? Can you imagine? They're going to have Trump on the ballot, they're going to have Ye on the ballot, and then the Democrats might try to prop old Biden up there, and it's going to be a mess. I don't know. I think I'm packing my bags now because I don't know where I'm going. But I'm getting the heck out of here. I'm just playing. I love my country, even though my country doesn't always love me. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Sauce, your source for celebrity news. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.